Hi, thank you for clicking on the video, and I hope everyone is doing really well. Sorry for any weird background noises, any buzzing or annoying things you might hear. Still trying to figure out this microphone. I never really know until it comes down to editing, and I can only do so much to get it out because I'm not very good at editing. Anyway, that out of the way, we can jump right into today's topic, which was a viewer suggestion or viewer request on Instagram. If you have any suggestions or ideas or things you want to hear my opinion on, or just topics you want to hear elaborated on that you think I might have some expertise in, feel free to leave a comment on this video or message me on Instagram or leave it in the comment section of one of my posts on Instagram. That probably would be better because I don't check my messages very often. This topic actually is something I had been thinking about prior to this person suggesting it. Thank you for the suggestion because I had been thinking about it. Having someone message me about it made me be like, okay, this is something that should be talked about. A lot of people say eating disorders are developed because of societal beauty standards, expectations, and I'm not saying that's wrong. There is some sort of unspoken pressure. We all feel it. You can deny it all you want. I'm sorry. It's there, whether you like it or not. Some people have learned how to ignore it, have the confidence to say, I'm going to be my own person, but the influence, the pressure, it's still there, okay? The biggest production of that kind of pressure is Hollywood. It's interesting because Hollywood is a very small place, yet it pumps out these ideas like a factory. And we consume them, we do. Every time you pick up a magazine, look something up online, watch a movie, watch a music video, listen to music, go to a concert. It literally is subliminal, underlining messages that you don't even realize are there until you start thinking weird ways, doing weird things, and being like, how did I get here? The topic is more focused on the pressure of celebrities. Ugh, the poor celebrities feeling pressured. Hey, they're human too, so get off their back. The pressure that celebrities go under to transform their bodies to be in certain roles. When you pursue acting, you have to be ready to go through change. You're an actor. It's part of the job description. Should it be expected? We can debate that at another time. But as of today, under the job description of Hollywood famous actor, the chances of you probably having to lose weight, gain weight, get muscular, get unfit, change your hair color, shave your head, wear prosthetics, all of that, very, very high chance you will be expected to do that. Again, we're not debating should they be expected to do that. Today, we're just saying it does happen. We are going to watch this video. It's a year old, and I'm pretty sure I watched it, or at least someone else's version of it when it first came out. But basically, the dark side of Hollywood body transformations.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
While there are many different answers to this question, a survey of 500 children revealed that of the boys surveyed, the most popular future dream jobs were ones that promised fame, fortune, and the ability to help, whether that was becoming a famous athlete or transforming into a superhero. Unfortunately, as we grow older, we learn that we probably won't develop superpowers or get the feeling of winning gold at the Olympics. But the dream is not lost in entirety. I may not be able to be an actual superhero, but I can look like one, you tell yourself. Or maybe you've had enough in the way you feel, in the way in which you are treated, which would almost certainly be different if you look like some of these people. So what do they look like? After a quick search on Google, you get a clear image. The vast majority all seem to have incredible strength, muscle, and low body fat.
We turn to celebrities for inspiration, motivation. We idolize them. We look to them as what we want to achieve, what we want to be. And we forget that we're not them. We forget that they're just human like us. They just have a different job. For some reason, they are above us. They are these pinnacle, perfect things that we want to be, but we know we'll never achieve. that. For some reason, great acting skills means that we want to look like them. This person's famous, people really like them, I should look like them. And hint, hint, wink, wink, I know the logic, it's just not logical.
And it's almost like there's a more impressive transformation year after year. Desperate to find their secrets, you have fitness companies studying them, entire careers devoted to discovering their formulas to success.
Alright guys, I want to talk about the truth about Zac Efron's physique in Baywatch.
People have even settled on mathematical proportions which you need to reach if you want to resemble many of these popular celebrities, known as the golden ratio physique.
This desire to resemble a celebrity is damaging. And for some reason, a lot of people want to blame the celebrity for simply doing their job, simply meeting the criteria that they need to play a certain role. Again, whether they do it in a healthy way or not is not what we're debating. We're not debating anything, actually. We are simply exploring the downside to it, because no one is saying it's healthy to build that much muscle in a very short period of time. No one is saying it's healthy to lose weight and gain weight within a year, a massive amount. Christian Bale did it. He went from The Machinist, Batman, and then there was a third movie that he was in all at the same time. Like, they all came out around the same time, and he has 3 completely different physiques in all 3. That's not healthy, and no one is saying it is. Yet we still look to that as, I want that. And that's not his fault. Just because someone is in the spotlight does not mean it's being glamorized. And I think we forget that a lot. Now, if he was out there saying, I've never felt better doing this up and down in my weight and my muscle and all that, and like, it's great, and he's saying that everyone should be like that, that is glamorizing. That is encouraging. But simply existing and doing your job is not glamorizing or encouraging. There is a lot of gray area, and I'm not denying that.
These ideal proportions suggest that the optimal stats for someone who is 5'10" requires a 32-inch waist, 52-inch shoulders, along with 16-inch biceps. Of course, getting into impressive shape like this would take most people a decade to achieve, and many of these celebrities are getting close in less than a year. So, how do they do it?
Chicken, steamed vegetables, and occasionally some brown rice or something like that.
How do they do it? They torture themselves. You also have to torture yourself and put yourself through stressful, trauma on the body circumstances to achieve it too. Because if you really want to look like them in that short a period of time, this is what they did. Probably had a little help from some things that you probably do not have regular access to, and that's how they did it. We don't all have access to those special little medicine that they probably took. I'm not saying all of them, I'm just saying probably some of them. So what do? We starve ourselves, we over-exercise, we think this is the way to do it, and we create unhealthy habits because the things that they do are also unhealthy habits. But no one is saying that's healthy for us or for them.
Brown rice, grilled chicken, broccoli, a gallon and a half of water a day, and working out 2 to 3 times a day, 6 days a week.
It was about 9 months of chicken breast and broccoli.
I worked out 6 hours a day, every day, for the last 20 years straight.
Chicken, loads of chicken like these.
Just bland, naked pieces of chicken and rice.
How do you not hear all this and not just feel sad? Because more and more people are showing these days that you can practically eat whatever you want, work out in a sustainable, healthy, enjoyable way, be healthy, be happy, maybe not have a 6-pack, maybe not have giant biceps, maybe not be able to deadlift double your weight, but still be in great shape. That's being proven time and time again these days. But for some reason, we are blinded by celebrity. For celebrity status, like these high up people who look jacked as shit. And we're like, yeah, I can look like that. No.
If there's one thing all these celebrities have in common, that is the brutal nature of their training routines. With many claiming to train 3 hours per day, 6 days per week, while only eating chicken, broccoli and rice, there's no doubt that they are working hard.
I was eating so much chicken breast that the hardest part about it was actually chewing it all. So I would just put it into a blender, blend it all up, and just drink chicken.
You choose to be an actor, you choose to be an action film actor, you get roles in action movies, you are gonna go through hell. It's part of the job. You have chosen this for yourself. You can turn down roles, will people look down at you and probably not cast you again? Yeah. So your livelihood is on the line. So you do what you have to do. That doesn't mean I don't feel bad for them, because I feel bad for anybody who feels the need, no matter what the reason is, to go through this.
Although others are quick to point out that they have the best trainers in the world, personal chefs, and get paid to work out. However, if you actually listen to how these actors say they got in shape, it's often pretty basic stuff.
One of our first days of training, he was like, all right, 200 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and you're done. And then he just walked out.
But perhaps these trainers, who have these celebrities doing all these unconventional, insanely intense workouts, which go against all scientific literature, know something we don't, because many of these stars are gaining muscle at an unnatural rate, all the while handling their other commitments, and they never seem to get injured, despite training intensely, while eating a diet deficient in many vital nutrients, with many actors also being past the peak age for muscle building. Sure, it would be easy to claim steroids at this point, as many people do, but where's the solid proof? Would it not be harsh to discredit their hard work, strict diet, and world-class coaching? Besides, many of them have been working out their entire lives, and you cannot ignore the role that muscle memory plays in many of these transformations. Some people are just genetically more muscular than others.
Yep, so that's another thing that us normal people don't think about, or don't even think to think about, and that's genetics, that's environment, that's athletic background. A lot of, I'm going to say us, because I am not a celebrity and I am not an actor, or I do not do that anymore. We don't even think about it. We don't even consider it. We just see pretty, let's say, and we want to be pretty. Whether pretty is, massive muscle or strength or whatever. But we see that and we're like, ooh, I want that. I want to do what they did. And maybe we shouldn't be wanting to do what they did. Even though a lot of their initial natural transformations are possible. So we have to do it in a longer period of time. And we want results now because we are human. And especially a lot of us are probably American and we think we deserve it now.
For example, they may just have the so-called Hercules gene, which allows anyone with it to naturally hold a lot more muscle. So just because someone can gain muscle a lot more easily than you, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're taking anything. And let's also not forget that the very same technology, which is being used to make these people look skinnier, could also be used to make them look bigger in films. What you could be seeing may be enhanced by CGI.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here. Movies aren't real. There's a lot of tricks that happen behind the scenes that the actor doesn't even have anything to do with. They simply are there. In editing, you can do practically anything to a person's physique. Who knows what they really looked like in that scene? And we are trying to achieve something a computer, a program, a machine created, an illusion that isn't even what that person looks like.
So is that it? Strict diet, extreme training, amazing genetics, and the incentive of a massive paycheck? Surely there's something more.
So that is the formula for all of us to follow in a healthy and sustainable way over a prolonged period of time to achieve good, healthy fitness that is practical. But now they have that incentive. This is my job. A little bit different of a scenario.
What would you do for $15 million? Would you work out for 9 months with the help of world-class trainers? Would you sign a contract promising to keep this process confidential? Now, how about take a supplement which enables you to gain more muscle, recover faster, and drop body fat more quickly? Now, what if that supplement just happened to be a performance-enhancing drug? Of course, these will be provided to you by top doctors, which will monitor you the entire time to help you avoid any side effects.
The thing that they have access to is top doctors who are willing to prescribe these drugs to these actors, but they also are monitoring them in a very consistent and healthy way. A lot of just normal people don't have that accessibility or the means to be monitored to that extent. And that is a problem because then it's like you're self-administering it and you don't know what the fuck you're doing, which again, super unhealthy. No one's saying this is healthy.
Just think how much you can help your family and friends with that kind of money. But remember, that contract you signed and the fact that PDs are technically illegal means you cannot tell anyone what you've been doing. And if you don't want to take them, no chance to play the superhero, no generational wealth, no celebrity lifestyle. When literally everyone around you benefits, why would you not take PEDs in this situation? You see, contrary to the general public perception, performance-enhancing drugs are not used exclusively by giant bodybuilders. They can be used to boost your strength, recovery, and speed. But perhaps most commonly, can be used to gain a more natural-looking physique. And their popularity is clearly rising.
A lot of people think that steroids simply make you big. You can use different steroids and PEDs. There's different types, and each one does different things. There are ones that are more geared towards women, and there are ones that are geared towards men, depending on what your goals are. There's a lot of bikini competitors who take steroids to achieve that leanness, and they're not big. Please don't think that these drugs are just used to get huge.
In a 2004 study, 1 in 25 high school students self-reported taking anabolic steroids. Zoom forwards to today, and it's predicted that as many as 1 in 6 people that you see in your gym are on or have tried anabolic steroids. And with more compounds becoming readily available to easily purchase over the internet, performance-enhancing drugs are becoming more and more prevalent in society.
UK, and you get 4 million results, and it's so easy. It's so easy to buy. I don't even know what I'm buying, and I can buy it. I can just click add to cart, and there you go, steroids.
So my question is, if you have your average Joe taking them just to look better, why would someone whose career depends on them looking a certain way not take them?
It's a good point. It's like we hear it all the time, but are we remembering it for our own self? I think there's nothing wrong with looking to someone for inspiration, but that's where it should stop. It should simply be inspiration, not emulating them, but knowing all the facts, or knowing that there's a chance they use something. And also ask yourself, are you willing to use that same thing to achieve that? You have to ask yourself, what am I willing to do? And I think a lot of us are like, oh, I'm willing to do anything. And then you do anything and you become incredibly ill. You become injured. You become weak when you thought you'd become strong. Like, most of us don't know what we're doing. We don't have top chefs to cook the perfect macro balanced meals. We don't have the means to have best trainers, a trainer at all. We don't have doctors on payroll to help us through this and monitor us. We don't have that. And so we don't know what we're doing. So we have to make it up ourselves, or pull from a million different sources that also probably don't know what they're talking about, or maybe they don't know much of what they're talking about.
While this rise in usage within Hollywood cannot be proven, if you compare what was considered a good action star physique in the 1950s, when PEDs were not as common as they are today, you can see just how much more insane these transformations have become. What was considered incredibly good shape a few decades ago is considered as nothing impressive today. Surely advances in diet and exercise alone cannot be responsible for changes as drastic as these. But still, none of this is proof that any of them are taking anything. In theory, it seems reasonable to assume that they're extremely common, especially in an industry notorious for substance abuse and shady activities. But what are some actual red flags to look out for?
We see it happening in Hollywood with celebrities. We subconsciously absorb that as this is okay to do.
While these signs do not conclude steroid use, when many coexist together, you should start to get suspicious. These red flags include gyno, hair loss, overdeveloped shoulders and traps, acne, and abnormal vascularity. And then you have the more obvious, such as gaining abnormal amounts of muscle in a short time period, gaining muscle unusually quickly at an older age, making crazy progress while on a poor diet and training plan.
So just training constantly, eating just chicken breast, broccoli, and that is it.
Yeah.
So he makes pretty clear that chicken breast and broccoli is the diet model, and he did that for 9 months. So we're looking at about 1,318 calories.
Yeah, there's no way to get that big on that low of calories. Just saying. If you didn't know, now you know.
And we're looking at a deficiency in almost all areas.
While I'm not going to call anyone out directly, many of these actors do display many of these red flags. Even though a lot of them are probably natural, it's highly unlikely that every single actor has outright refused some assistance, especially given the pressure they're under. If you wanted to see an analysis of whether a particular transformation was natural or not, there are plenty of videos which explore this, and this begs the question, why do people even care?
I think I know why people care. Should we? let's see what they say. We always want to blame someone, so might as well blame the person emulating the poor behavior, not the pressure to emulate that poor behavior.
While I'm well aware that these stars probably inspire millions to get into better shape and probably have a net positive effect, there is a flip side to the coin. When the people many look up to achieve unnaturally impressive transformations, this becomes the standard at which people believe is naturally achievable if you just follow their exact routine.
That is exactly what I've been saying through this entire video, is we see these transformations and then we want to do exactly what they did, thinking we're going to look like them. And that is a false message. It is a myth. It needs to be repeated over and over and over again until it becomes second nature in our brain. Because I will admit, I've fallen into this trap before, even with the progress I've made over the past few years, even with the self-education that I've put myself through, even with the knowledge that I know. Sometimes my first reaction is, oh, I can do that, followed by, no, you fucking can't, because you're not them. You do not have access to what they have. And at the same time, that leads me down the path of thinking, why do I want to when I can look like me? I have to remember that. That is the goal, is to be simply happy, healthy, fit within myself, not within some celebrity thousands of miles away.
Of course, until these fans, despite the best efforts, do not achieve anywhere near the same results, which can be very demotivating at the very least. But unrealistic body expectations come with many dangers. While these transformations look extremely desirable, what you don't see are the mental consequences that such unsustainable routines have on the actors.
I know what the mental consequences of disordered eating, disordered exercise can have on you. I have lived it, I have experienced it, I understand it. It's scary and sad to think what they are letting into their mind. I can feel bad for them because I know where this kind of behavior can lead mentally. They should all have therapists also there to help them through this, because it's, whether you think you're mentally strong or not, it can catch you off guard and push you to places that you don't want to go in your brain.
Is there a lot of pressure to keep up?
Yeah. The answer is yes. It's tough reading those comic books because in the comic books he's like 6'4", 240 or something. He's a huge animal. I'm nowhere near that.
Audiences expect you to look like a superhero now.
I think there is a slight body dysmorphia that you get, you know, after training so hard.
Yeah.
And these are people who can afford the best of everything and are supported the entire way. Imagine the potential negative effects that following these routines has on young kids. These actors may look healthy, but the things which they're doing are far from it.
So when I got to Orange is the New Black, for the first shirtless scene, I definitely did some unhealthy crash dieting. And being in TV long enough, I'll tell you this is something that almost all actors and actresses do for these shirtless scenes.
In a similar way to which runway models were glorified along with their ridiculous lifestyles. Whether intentionally or not, Hollywood seems to be glorifying a lifestyle of secretive PEDs, unsustainable diets, and overtraining.
Hollywood glamorizes it. Hollywood emphasizes it. Hollywood encourages it. Yes, Hollywood is made up of people, but again, it's this unspoken, non-physical entity that pushes it upon the people who work in the industry, pushes it upon us watching these people work in the industry. It is this unspoken, untangible thing, not the people within it. More and more people, like they talked about, that it creates body dysmorphia. It creates an unhealthy mindset. I think there should be more talk about that than what they went through to look like that. I'm gonna stop the video here because I feel like I'm just gonna repeat myself a few more times and no one wants that, including me. Thank you so much to the person who suggested making this video. I hope this video was everything you hoped for. So thank you so much for clicking on the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you did not enjoy it, you can give it a thumbs down. That is cool too. I don't mind. If you're not subscribed already, please consider subscribing and be sure to hit the notification bell to stay notified of all future uploads. If you have any comments, questions, video suggestions, anything at all, feel free to leave that in the comment section below. Be sure to go follow me over on Instagram and I will see you next time. Bye!